supportive and helpful to others, and his family instilled a lasting appreciation for education. And whereas, over the span of his exciting 25-year career, Alabama Teacher of the Year Reggie White has focused his efforts on developing the essential life skills of his students while also providing them with the solid foundation of engaging classroom experiences and support. And whereas he is a National Board Certified Teacher and a dynamic 5th grade educator at Booker T. Washington K-8 School in the Birmingham City School System. And whereas Alabama Teacher of the Year Reggie White grew up in Choctaw County and attended Alabama State University with the intention of majoring in communications. And whereas the Baptist Student Union at Alabama State University provided him with the wonderful opportunity to serve as a missionary in San Jose, California, where he helped children learn English and showed local families top educational methods to improve student reading. And whereas during his time, he also decided to fully commit his efforts to becoming an effective educator who utilized a student-centered approach to teach young people. And whereas he also began to focus his efforts on developing authentic classroom approaches to help every student achieve. And whereas top Alabama educator Reggie White subscribes to the personal beliefs that his parents want teachers to genuinely care about their families' overall well-being and success. And whereas Alabama Teacher of the Year Reggie White works each day to ensure that every student is connected to their community and appreciates the opportunities around them. And whereas Alabama Teacher of the Year Reggie White wants all students to be prepared for bright futures, he works to teach every student the true value of academic excellence. And whereas Alabama Teacher of the Year Reggie White is a great professional example for all educators statewide. Therefore, be it resolved that the Alabama State Board of Education does hereby congratulate Reggie White for being selected the 2022-2023 Alabama Teacher of the Year and Elementary Teacher of the Year, and expresses gratitude for his dedication and service to K-12 excellence, done this 12th day of May 2022. Congratulations.
Governor, Superintendent, board members, educators, families, and friends. It is with a great honor I accept this awesome opportunity to be a voice for teachers and students, and I accept it. I do not take it lightly. I vow to wake up every day of my life promoting student achievement. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that kind of.
I think he's going to be the National Teachers of the Year. I go to meetings at the National with all of the Teachers of the Year. He's got it.
That's great. All right, that's great.
Well, I don't think we have to do that.
As Dr. Richardson makes her way back up, Dr. Chestnut, would you come down with our next resolution, I think? Speak here. Okay.
Resolution commending the 2022-2023 alternate State Teacher of the Year and Secondary Teacher of the Year, William Edmonds, Barton Academy for Advanced World Studies, Mobile County School System, State School Board, District 5. We will now consider a resolution, and we've done that. Do I hear a motion to adopt the resolution?
So move.
Second.
All those in favor show by raised hand. Congratulations, Mr. Edmonds. Let's give him a round of applause.
Whereas alternate state teacher of the year, William Edmonds, is a highly respected Mobile County school system educator who is genuinely appreciated by parents and students. And whereas his family instilled a lasting appreciation for education in him. And whereas after graduating from Citronelle High School in 1992, alternate state teacher of the year, William Edmonds, pursued a degree in global business at the University of Mobile. And whereas while at the University of Mobile, he studied in France and then Belgium and ended up adding a French major to his degree. And whereas little did he know that this effort to meet his college foreign language requirement would one day lead him to a successful 24-year teaching career. And whereas in 1998, while working for a top international bank, alternate state teacher of the year, William Edmonds, decided to pursue a new career path. And whereas he applied immediately to become a teacher in the Mobile County school system and has never looked back. And whereas alternate state teacher of the year, William Edmonds, began teaching French at Burns Middle School and then transferred to Davidson High School, where he spent 20 years teaching at all levels. And whereas he gained a personal appreciation for learning more about highly effective classroom management and instructional methods. And whereas in 2009, alternate state teacher of the year, William Edmonds, earned national board certification and in 2021 embraced a new opportunity to teach grades 6 through 9 at the reopened Barton Academy for Advanced World Studies in the Mobile County school system. And whereas his instructional methods promote academic success through a focus on building each student's base of overall learning experiences while providing them opportunities to explore new levels of knowledge. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Alabama State Board of Education does hereby congratulate William Edmonds for being named the 2023 Alternate State Teacher of the Year and the Secondary Teacher of the Year, and commends him for his dedication to grades K through 12, student learning and achievement, done this 12th day of May 2022.
Dr. Mackey, State School Board, it's an honor to be here today to accept this award on behalf of all of Alabama teachers and the success that they see in the classroom each and every day. I look forward to this year with enthusiasm, and most importantly, I look forward to supporting Mr. Reggie White as Teacher of the Year for Alabama and the role that he will play in our public schools, and looking forward to that with great anticipation. Thank you very much.
Like that, huh?
We will now consider a resolution commending the 2022nd, 2023 District Teachers of the Year. Do I hear a motion to adopt the resolution?
So moved, Wayne Reynolds.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor show by raised hands. All those opposed? Congratulations to all the district teachers of the year. Let's give them a round of applause. Would you please stand? If we have district teachers of the year, if we have any here, would you please stand? Any district teachers of the year that are here
All
with
the
us
rest
this
of our
morning?
district teachers
All
of the
you,
year.
please
Thank
stand.
you. And
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And Madam Vice President, as
Yes.
soon as the meeting is over, I have a resolution for each of them that you've just passed. We want to have them, so we don't have to get everybody moving right now, but we're going to ask the board members to come down and all of you to come up as soon as the meeting adjourns and do a picture with all of our district finalists, including Mr. Edmonds and Mr. White and the board members. So, and we'll have your resolutions for you too when you come down right at the end of the meeting. Thank you.
We will now consider a resolution commending Mrs. Jacqueline Wright, Principal, Brubaker Primary School, Montgomery County School System, recipient for Transformation and Triumph in Closing the Reading Achievement Gap, 2022 Model Schools Conference, International Center for Leadership and Education, State School Board District 5. Do I hear motion to adopt the resolution?
So move.
Second?
Any discussion? All those in favor show by raised hand. All those opposed? Thank you. Yes. It's not what you have.
Ms. Bell and I share Montgomery County, so she's coming down with me. Ms. Wright? Dr. Moore? Her husband? Family? She has family here.
Don't be shy. If you're here with Dr. Wright, please come down.
That's right.
Right around the fan club, and they're well deserved.
Yes.
You come around here with Dr. Chestnut, if you will, while she reads, because we want you to say some words after she reads the resolution, and then the others just gather.
Whereas the Alabama State Board of Education recognizes and appreciates strong leadership that results in schools and school districts attaining higher level of academic achievement, especially an achievement that is nationally recognized by leading education organizations. And whereas the mission of the International Center for Leadership Award, ICLE, established in 1991, mission is to assist schools in providing all students with a rigorous and relevant instructional program that is future-focused and grounded in a culture that fosters strong personal relationships between students and adults alike. And whereas the ICLE recognizes and shares innovative practices for improving schools across the nation with more than 6,000 educators who attend their annual Model School Conference. And whereas, because the ICLE has identified 3 Alabama schools and only 16 schools across the nation as model schools that show exemplary progress in various categories, including school turnaround, integrating technology, and closing the achievement gap, to name a few. And whereas Brubaker Primary School, Montgomery County School System, under the leadership of Mrs. Jacqueline Wright, principal, has received the Model School Award for Transformation and Triumph in closing the reading achievement gap and is one of only 6 elementary schools in the nation to be acknowledged by ICLE. And whereas Mrs. Wright has spearheaded innovative practices that resulted in significantly decreasing the reading achievement gap at Brubaker Primary School, and serves as a model for how schools can employ exceptional techniques to bolster a positive school culture and student achievement. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Alabama State Board of Education does hereby extend congratulations to Brubaker Primary School for being selected as a recipient of this distinguished award from the International Center for Leadership in Education, done this 12th day of May 2022.
Wow. To God be the glory. None of this work that we completed as a team at Brubaker comes easily. It was hard fought through a pandemic. I am just a second-year principal. This is just my second year. But together, thank you. Together as a team, we at Brubaker Primary School, where amazing does happen for children, we were able to close our reading achievement gap. Started at 18%, ended at 48% last year, and we want to go even higher this year. I want to thank my family, my husband, Kevin, who has been very gracious in allowing me to work nights, weekends, just all the time. He understands my passion, and so I want to thank him for that. I want to thank my family, my mom. My mom is a huge inspiration, and she's always believed in me. Raise your hand, Mom. And she is a walking miracle. She is, and my sister and my niece Charlie and my brother-in-law and our entire family, my aunts. I also want to thank Dr. Moore, who gave me my first chance as a principal. She also allowed us to be creative and innovative at Brubaker. She trusted that we were going to do right by kids, and the only thing she said was, you better make gains. I want to see the data. I want to see improvement. And so, Dr. Moore, I hope that we at Brubaker Primary, where amazing happens for kids, have made you proud. My board member, Miss Erica Watkins-Smith, Dr. Mackey, you visited us. And I also want to thank my mentors, Mrs. Pat Carnegie, who was my very first employing principal. She is here today, and she is as much an inspiration to me today as she was when I first laid eyes on her as my principal in my first year. And without forgetting Dr. Zacchaeus Bird, he is also my mentor and taught me the meaning of inspirational leadership. And it is through that piece that we were able to help transform. And so thank you, Dr. Bird, and everyone, Dr. Chestnut, board members, Governor Ivey. Thank you so much.
And everybody's going to have to fill in. Come on, we're going to get inside. Y'all are family. Dr. Murphy, come up here with me. This lovely young lady.
I think that's what she said, Charlie, little Charlie. Charles.
Well, let's see if I can get everybody in there. So far, no. I'm not standing in the chair. That'll work. All right, everybody smile if you want to. One. Looks good.
Richardson. I don't know, do you want to?
Yes.
You want to go ahead and
will
pass
read
it from up there and then come down, or?
Right, you
Okay.
can. We will now consider a resolution commending Dr. Teresa Jones Hamilton, Principal, and Dr. Tanya Cruz, School Improvement and Turnaround Administrator, Central High School, Tuscaloosa School System, recipient for School Improvement 2022 Model Schools Conference, International Center for Leadership and Education, State School Board District 4. Do I hear a motion to adopt the resolution?
So moved. Second.
All right. All those in favor, show by hand. Thank you. We ask them to come down, yes.
Yes. Come on down.
Dr. Hamilton, Dr. Cruz, and is Dr. Daria here? No? All right. And I share this district with Ms. McRae, so would you do me the honor?
How are you, ladies? Thank y'all. Congratulations on the good work.
Whereas the Alabama State Board of Education recognizes and appreciates strong leadership that results in schools and school districts attaining higher levels of academic achievement, especially an achievement that is nationally recognized by leading education organizations. And whereas the mission of the International Center for Leadership Award, established in 1991, mission is to assist schools in providing all students with a rigorous and relevant instructional program that is future-focused and grounded in a culture that fosters strong personal relationships between students and adults alike. And whereas the ICLE recognizes and shares innovative practices for improving schools across the nation, with more than 6,000 educators who attend their annual Model School Conference, and whereas because the ICLE has identified 3 Alabama schools and only 16 schools across the nation as model schools that show exemplary progress in various categories, including school turnaround, integrating technology, and closing the achievement gap, to name a few. Whereas Central High School, Tuscaloosa City School, under the leadership of Dr. Tanya Cruz, School Improvement and Turnaround Administrator, and Dr. Teresa Jones Hamilton, Principal, has received the Model School Award for School Turnaround and is one of only 5 high schools in the nation to be acknowledged by ICLE, whereas Drs. Tanya Cruz and Teresa Jones Hamilton have spearheaded innovative practices that resulted in significant turnaround at Central High School and serves as a model for how schools can employ exceptional techniques to bolster a positive school culture and student achievement. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Alabama State Board of Education does hereby extend congratulations to Central High School for being selected as a recipient of this distinguished award from the International Center for Leadership in Education.
Good morning, everyone. This is indeed an honor. Thank you, Dr. Mackey, to your board. Thank you so much to our superintendent, Dr. Mike Daria, and our deputy superintendent, Dr. James Pope. We thank them. And also, I would like to thank Dr. Teresa Jones for allowing the district central support team to support her. That's sometimes not easy to do, but she has always welcomed us with open arms. Thank you so much, and we cannot wait to share our journey. Thank you.
Good morning, and I also want to thank her for her team for coming in and supporting us the way they did support us in order for us to get to the point that we are now. It has indeed been a labor of love, and you have to love children and love the purpose behind what we have to do to make sure these children are successful in order to get to this place. And it doesn't stop here. It's continuous and it's ongoing. So we thank you all for having us here. We thank you for your support, and we are very grateful for this opportunity to be standing before you today. Thank you.
We will now consider item G, resolution commending Charles R. Drew Middle School, Talladega County School System as 2022 awardee for the Alabama Green Ribbon Schools, State Board District 6. We will now consider a resolution commending Charles R. Drew Middle School, Talladega School System as 2022 awardee for the Alabama Green Ribbon School State School Board District. Do I hear a motion to adopt the resolution?
We got to go back one more.
Oh, we got to go back one more.
Yes, sir.
Oh, my, thank you.
This one right here. And
You
then we'll do.
finally give me a chance and I mess it up. Sorry. Well, we'll do item G and then we'll go back to item F, if that's all right with you, Madam Chairman.
Yes.
Do I hear a resolution to adopt the resolution commending Drew Middle School?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Are any questions? Ms. Thornton, would you call the roll? Or all in favor say aye, or raise your hand. Sorry, I'm figuring this out.
Dr. McCarty, you've got it? We got a big contingent here from Talladega County Drew Middle School.
Can't even follow the script.
We share, Ms. Bell and I share District 6 right now in Talladega County, so we will, if you would like to join, you want me to? Okay, I'll do whatever you prefer. Have to wear glasses these days. This is a resolution commending Charles R. Drew Middle School, Talladega County School System as the 2022 awardee for Alabama Green Ribbon Schools. Whereas the Alabama State Board of Education recognizes the importance of saving energy, reducing costs, I'm an economist, that means a lot to me, reducing costs, creating environmentally sustainable learning spaces, protecting health, and fostering wellness for Alabama students and educators. And whereas Charles R. Drew Middle School, located in the Talladega County School System, is awarded the Alabama Green Ribbon School Award by the Alabama State Department of Education and the Alabama Commission on Higher Education for its commitment to improving its overall environmental impact, energy efficiency, and environmental education efforts. And whereas Charles R. Drew Middle School is focused on increasing our state's environmental stewardship and sustainability by reducing all negative ecological impact through facility management, waste reduction, and energy conservation. Whereas Charles R. Drew Middle School also is positively impacting the Talladega County community with research-based environmental education and awareness. And whereas Charles R. Drew Middle School is utilizing project-based learning classroom lessons to further build sustainable green living practices throughout the community. Whereas Charles R. Drew Middle School is committed to the health and well-being of all students, faculty, and staff through extensive recycling initiatives that integrate effective facilities management practices. Whereas through its innovating Recycling in Drew, RID, school-wide initiative, more than 950 pounds of used paper and plastic were collected and recycled throughout the academic year. Whereas for this special initiative, students also created a successful community awareness campaign, which utilized communication flyers, public service announcement videos, and informative community displays to share their important messages about the positive impact of eco-friendly and green living. And whereas this program has also received national recognition, Charles R. Drew Middle School students recently competed against more than 1,500 students from across the country at the national Nat Geo competition and placed second overall for their innovative approach to recycling and community outreach. Whereas the students and faculty at Charles R. Drew Middle School truly take their environmental commitment seriously and continue to integrate additional positive recycling-minded measures into their school organizations, daily practices, and classroom curriculum. And whereas approximately 100% of Charles R. Drew Middle School's landscaping is water efficient, less than 15% of its campus is covered with impermeable surfaces, 75% of campus driveways are porous, and approximately 85% of the school's total paper use is chlorine-free and post-consumer material certified with fibers produced from forests that are responsibly managed. Whereas Charles R. Drew Middle School is fully committed to environmental education and also utilizes STEAM curriculum offerings to allow students to explore their career options and talents in areas that promote environmental research, public service, and volunteer opportunities. And whereas Charles R. Drew Middle School parents and faculty have a strong partnership in creating successful school service programs which broaden community awareness, student leadership, and environmental stewardship. Now, therefore be it resolved that the Alabama State Board of Education does hereby commend Charles R. Drew Middle School located in the Talladega County School System for its commitment to the environmental education and does hereby express its sincere congratulations. Congratulations, Charles R. Drew Middle School, Talladega County School System.
Good morning, and thank you so much. We are so honored to be part of the Green Ribbon Program. This is our 12th school in Talladega County that has earned this impressive credential. So Dr. Mackey was able to visit Drew Middle School just last Friday, and he saw in action what the students and our wonderful teachers who are here today do every single day to promote learning, STEM education, and most importantly, project-based learning that gives them that real-world connection to their everyday life and helps them to establish a future pathway once they graduate from high school. So thank you so much on behalf of Mr. Young, our principal who leads this extraordinary work, our board member, Ms. Sandra Tuck, and the entire Talladega County Board of Education. We say thank you, and it's a pleasure to be here with you this morning.
Dr. Mackey and board, it's indeed a extreme honor and pleasure to be here today to accept this award. There's great work to be done, and we are up for the challenge. And again, I just appreciate this opportunity. Thank you.
We're going to get a picture right on the video. Get you and Dr. Lacey in the middle.
Yes.
Board members around y'all, and then we're, again, we're going to have to be, everybody together, be friendly. We want to hold the flag. Come on, ladies, come over here. Take the flag.
There we go, perfect. All right, 1, 2, 3, go straight, and done. Thank you.
Thank y'all.
We will now consider item F, a resolution commending Dr. Lucretia Prince, Principal, Crestmont Elementary School, Tuscaloosa County School System, recipient for schools turnaround through a thriving culture and building relationship. 2022 Model Schools Conference, International Center for Leadership in Education, State School Board District 4. We will now consider a resolution commending Dr. Lucretia Prince, Principal, Crestmont Elementary School, Tuscaloosa County School System, recipient for schools turnaround through a thriving culture and building relationship, 222 Model Schools Conference, International Center for Leadership and Education, State School Board District 4. Do we hear a motion to adopt the resolution?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor show by raised hand. All those opposed? Ms. Thornton,
Unanimous vote.
thank you very much.
Thank you. Is Dr. Prince here? Please come down, or and anyone else from your school or your school district. Is Dr. Johnson here? No. She couldn't make it? All right.
Whereas the Alabama State Board of Education recognizes and appreciates strong leadership that results in schools and school districts attaining higher levels of academic achievement, especially an achievement that is nationally recognized by leading education organizations. And whereas the mission of the International Center for Leadership Award, established in 1991, mission is to assist schools in providing all students with a rigorous and relevant instructional program that is future-focused and grounded in a culture that fosters strong personal relationships between students and adults alike. And
whereas the ICLE recognizes and shares innovative practices for improving schools across the nation with more than 6,000 educators who attend their annual Model School Conference. And whereas because ICLE has identified 3 Alabama schools and only 16 schools across the nation as model schools that show exemplary progress in various categories, including school turnaround, integrating technology, and closing the achievement gap, to name a few. And whereas Crestmont Elementary School, Tuscaloosa County School System, under the leadership of Dr. Lucretia Prince, Principal, received the Model School Award for School Turnaround through a thriving culture and building relationships, and one of only 6 elementary schools in the nation to be acknowledged by ICLE. And whereas Dr. Lucretia Prince spearheaded innovative practices that resulted in a positive impact in the school culture and improved relationships at Crestmont Elementary School, and serves as a model for how schools can employ exceptional techniques to bolster a positive culture and student achievement.
now therefore be it resolved that the Alabama State Board of Education does hereby extend congratulations to Crestmont Elementary School for being selected as a recipient of this distinguished award from the International Center for Leadership in Education.
Done this 12th day of May, 2022.
Good morning to everyone, to Dr. Mackey and to his board. It is definitely an honor and such a privilege to have the opportunity to be standing to receive this resolution. I came to Crestmont about 5 years ago. This is my 5th year as an administrator, and all I knew was that I didn't want to do things the normal way. I knew that although we were a Title I school with a high population of African American and Hispanic students, I knew that all things are possible to those that believe. And so I am a living testimony on today that when you have hard work, tenacity, perseverance, and you know in whom you serve, that all things are definitely possible. So I want to take this opportunity to say thank you so much to my wonderful team. Our mission statement at Crestmont Elementary is one team, one dream, one mission. And that is everybody's buying in to one vision, and that is to make sure that we don't stop until every student is successful. So thank you again for having the opportunity to stand before you to receive this resolution on behalf of Crestmont Elementary School.
We will now move forward with item H on our agenda, a resolution recognizing Alabama's Grow Your Own Initiative and Future Teachers of Alabama organization. We will now consider a resolution recognizing Alabama's Grow Your Own Initiative and Future Teachers of Alabama organization. Do I hear a motion to adopt the resolution? So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor show by raised hands. Ms. Thornton?
Unanimous vote.
Thank you very much.
We will now consider a resolution to authorize review of the Educator Preparation Program at the University of Alabama in Huntsville. Do I hear a motion to adopt the resolution?
I so move.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor show by raised hand.
Unanimous vote.
Thank you, Ms. Thornton. We will now consider a resolution to authorize review of an educator preparation program, University of Montevallo. Do I hear a motion to adopt the resolution?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor show by raised hand. All those opposed?
Unanimous vote.
Thank you. We will now select the Alabama State Board of Education delegate for the Healthcare Workforce Task Force.
Dr. Richardson, as a lifelong educator and a registered nurse, I consider this a very important task force, and I would like to nominate Dr. LaBrenda Marshall, who is our state school nurse manager.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Do we have any more nominations? Okay. Seeing none, nominations are now closed. Do I hear a motion to confirm the selection of Mrs. LaBrenda, Dr. LaBrenda Marshall, as the delegate?
I so move.
Second.
Is there a second? Any discussion? All those in favor, show by raised hand.
Unanimous vote.
Thank you. We will now consider a motion to adopt amended Alabama Administrative Code, Chapter 290-4-5, pertaining to student health services. Do I hear a motion to adopt?
I so move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor show by raised hand.
Unanimous vote.
Thank you. We will now consider a motion to announce intent to adopt new Alabama Administrative Code, Rule 290-3-1-.03, pertaining to extended learning opportunities. Do I hear a motion to adopt?
So move.
Is there a second? Any discussion? All those in favor, show by raised hand. Yes, you have discussion? Yes.
I have a question.
Question, okay.
For those who are unfamiliar with what we're about to vote on, can you share a little bit about it?
I would be glad to. So this is, again, extended learning opportunities, a change in the code. This actually follows a legislative change last year that authorized outside groups to partner with the local school board at the school board's discretion to offer off-site extended learning opportunities for credit. So you might think of a community organization, I won't name them, you all know what they are, but that work with youth, and they might have, say, an after-school program, but they want to actually offer credit, say, in a gardening or a horticultural program or something like that. So the legislature authorized the board to do that. The board is establishing rules that say that an organization can do that. They have to meet, obviously, some background requirements for adults that will be working with children. And it will be up to each local board to whether they participate or not with each organization. If an organization gets at least 50% of the school boards in the state that say we want to offer this program for extended learning credit, then they can be, they would be eligible for a state certificate that would say then that they could offer it in every school in the state if 50% of the local boards signed up for a particular after school or extended learning credit.
Okay. Any more discussion? Okay. We've had a motion, second, and discussion. All those in favor, show by raised hand.
Unanimous vote.
Thank you. We will now consider a motion to approve Dr. Brandon T. Payne as Deputy State Superintendent of Administration and Finance, beginning at Step 18, pay grade 092, at an annual rate of $204,727.20, effective June 1st, 2022. Do I hear a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
Second?
Any discussion?
I will abstain. I do this because I think the law requires the board to specifically vote on any position except for the state school superintendent. But that's just my personal position on this. Because also, we don't have, if we hire someone as a board, we also don't have the ability to officially, I guess, hire them. And so that's an option at the local level, but not here. We could, for example, release the state school superintendent by virtue of the fact that we function as a board, but any other position, this is a position I've taken over the years, so I will abstain.
Dr. Mackey, in line with that, a question had come up in work session. According to the code, that the individual in this position would have a preferred CPA or something very similar. Would you please address how you're going to basically answer that call with this position and what we're going to do in hiring
Absolutely.
perhaps someone so that it will not overall affect our budgetary concerns?
Absolutely. So the current code does say that, that I'll have a chief finance officer, the superintendent will have a chief finance officer who either is a CPA or has school budget experience that in the superintendent's purview makes them qualified as if, you know, to do the job. There's no question in my mind, as we discussed last month, that Dr. Payne has that qualification and background. We will, however, after this approval, be looking for a budget director. And in that budget director, we are going to hire a CPA. So I know that's one of the things we talked about last month, and I thank you for the opportunity to explain it in the public meeting. No question, Dr. Payne has done some remarkable work for us as an assistant superintendent. We'll be able to oversee all of the A&F section at the department. We have, of course, 2 deputies, he and Ms. Martin, and then we will, instead of just backfilling his position as it was, we'll be looking for a finance director with a CPA.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Richardson, may I have a question?
Yes.
Yes, Superintendent, in light of the conversation about whether we approve this position or not, and the role of the board in dismissing or disciplining these employees, would you clarify that for the public and for me?
Yes, sir. So the code as it has been interpreted, and I defer, I know Mrs. Bell disagrees with the interpretation, but as it's been interpreted by the state personnel legal staff, is that the superintendent chooses the executive staff. They serve at the pleasure of the superintendent with confirmation by the board. And so, as Mrs. Bell said, any of those deputy or assistant superintendents can be released by the superintendent because they serve at my pleasure, just as I serve at your pleasure. But to hire a person, if I release somebody, or if somebody in this case resigns and moves to another job, to replace them takes my hiring them, but confirmation by the board.
So can the board have a vote of lack of confidence and encourage you to take the remedial action that Ms. Bell says we don't have the right to do?
I think you misinterpreted what I said.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I don't mean to misinterpret anybody.
Sorry.
Well, you did.
Yes, sir.
Okay, point of clarification.
Well, assistant and deputy superintendents serve at the pleasure of the board. Serve at the pleasure of the superintendent. The state superintendent serves at the pleasure of the board. But nominations require confirmation by the board according to the state personnel department's legal interpretation of the code. And I think that the difference, I don't want to speak for Mrs. Bell, is that she has may not agree with that interpretation, but we have to live by the interpretation that's been handed down from across the street.
Well,
Yes.
Madam Chairman. Point of clarification, correcting, whatever else you need, straight from me. My interpretation is that according to the law, we hire the state school superintendent. So part of what you said is certainly something I can agree with, but having been here through different times, and it's a new interpretation, a lot of it has to do with the salary schedule and the option to be able to pay them more, which is certainly your prerogative. You have a budget, you can work within that budget. It also allows you more flexibility. The difference is that we do not have the authority, and of course, if you make a recommendation, we can certainly address that. But ultimately, it's when someone asks who hired you, the board ultimately is who hires each one of these individuals when we officially vote to hire them, technically. So ultimately, the board is responsible for hiring these individuals, is my interpretation. And having done it differently, serving on this board for probably 20 years or more, it was done differently before. So it's a new interpretation. I will stick with the old interpretation. The law hasn't changed, only the interpretation. And if the idea is just to pay them more, just, you know, that's certainly part of it if you want to ultimately have the authority, but it still does not provide for the authority. We can certainly remove the state school superintendent if we have a disagreement. By law, we can do that. But as far as anyone else we technically hire, it does make it a little bit different. And so for that reason, I'm not sure why it's such a big deal that I'm actually abstaining, but I do want it to make it clear that my abstention has nothing to do with the person who's being hired. And that's been the protocol that I followed for many years, even before you changed it to this type of vote that's required by the board. So anyway, I appreciate the opportunity to further explain.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Bell, for your comments, and also Dr. Reynolds. Do I hear a motion to approve? We've already had the motion and the second. All those in favor, show by raised hand.
I will abstain.
All right.
And I've abstained.
2 abstentions.
Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Mackey, do you have any public or legal information to share?
There is no legal or executive information today.
Dr. Mackey, do you have a report?
I have a report, and I have a great report today. Thank you for the opportunity, ma'am. So first of all, certainly good to have so many teachers and principals here that we recognize today. It's been good to be in many of their schools and would like to go into all of their schools. I can't commit to get to every school, but I certainly try to get to as many as possible. You heard common themes this morning from those folks who came to the microphone, and it was all about students and their commitment to students, and even when the work is hard, to continue to push forward with getting the work done. So we're fortunate to have so many great teachers and principals in this state to recognize. And we look forward again, when we finish, don't leave. All of our district winners, please come down so we can do a big picture together. I have a few other really pressing and important announcements to make, and then we have some students I'm going to recognize as the last part of my report today. But first of all, I want to mention to you, this is hot off the press this morning as of 6 a.m., so these people are not with us today, but Secretary Cardona announced today the 58th class of United States Presidential Scholars, and we have 3 from Alabama. They are Yawan Lee of James Clemens High School in Madison, Alabama, Haley McKenzie Mullins of Brubaker Technology Magnet High School here in Montgomery, and she is also the U.S. Presidential Scholar in Career Technical Education, so she won 2 awards. And then Jane Shee from the Alabama School of Fine Arts in Birmingham, Alabama. So we are thrilled to have all 3 of those students named as United States Presidential Scholars by Secretary Cardona and President Biden, and we'll, I'm sure, have the opportunity to recognize them later.
Great.
Yeah. We have, I want to say a little update on our Fafsa Completion, if I can say Fafsa correctly, so the free application for federal student aid. You know that we passed a rule some time back that said students either had to waive out, or parents could waive them out, superintendents could waive them out, or they had to complete the FAFSA. Since that has happened, let you know that our FAFSA submissions are up 18%. So we have about 7,800 more students this year who've completed the FAFSA than last year. We're now in the top 20 states for FAFSA completion. Now, all that being said, about 40% of students are doing the waiver. And there was never any intention that everybody would have to complete a FAFSA to graduate, but that is a misnomer that's out there. We get maybe one call a week about that because somebody doesn't have the waiver application or something. But about 40% of the students are waiving it, but again, about 60% are completing, and so that's much higher than it was. It will result in many millions of dollars coming to those students in student aid and scholarship and loan opportunities. So good for them. If they go to 2-year or 4-year college, they can use those. We do, at this point, have lots of superintendents that will be issuing blanket waivers because we don't want any student not to graduate because the process is not complete. So at this point, we're getting close to graduation, and a lot of superintendents will be issuing those blanket waivers, but it is really good to see so many more students participating in that this year, and I thank you for your diligence and also sending people to us, because some of y'all have referred people to us who were confused about the process. As you know, I have a senior this year, so I had to complete it myself. It is not as easy as was promised by the federal government, but they are still making some changes. It's next year it will go to a 38-question survey. I think it's like 50-something questions now, so it is getting easier by the year, and we have more people completing. With that, we have, was there a question?
Yes, Dr. Mackey.
Yes,
If I have had some folks ask me where they might be able to find the code change. Can you tell me, for the record, where that can be found? I have a copy, which of course I can email out to folks, but in full transparency, where could parents find that?
Absolutely. So I actually I pulled a lot of information on FAFSA, and I have that. So it's this long number. It's under 290-3-1-.02, which is all of our regulations that deal with high school graduation. But if you look under item 21, it deals with the FAFSA and says either complete the FAFSA or complete in writing a waiver or be waived by the superintendent as a graduation preference. So that's, if you can find it. Yesterday we had some issues. Everything went down around here. We had some issues, but on our website, if you have any questions, you can send them to us too, and legal will take them right to it. But it's 290-3-1-.02, item 21. So you have to get all the way to the bottom of that section for the FAFSA. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Would you mind sending that to me? I can't write all those numbers down.
Yes, sir.
But then I would make certain that that's available to everybody in my district, and I'm certain the other board members would.
We'll get it. We'll
appreciate
send it to
it in
you,
a
and
better
we'll also
form.
get
Thank
y'all
you.
I mean, it's just one page. We'll get you a copy today, and we'll send you the link too.
Yes.
Claire. Yes, ma'am.
I don't remember where I read this, but I did read that we are 19th in the nation now in improvement of filling out those forms.
That's exactly right.
Woo.
And it's great. The number one, my head is full of too many facts, and I get a lot of them wrong, but the number one county in the state is still Lamar County in your area, and they went up this year. The number one is Dr. Zacchaeus Bird still here? He was here with us this morning, superintendent in Barber County. So the number one improved county in the state is Barber County, and they went from around 18% to 80% in 1 year. Yeah. Huge,
And that would be District
commitment.
2.
District
That's right,
2.
District.
Dr. Mackey.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
If parents, citizens, if they do a search on our website and type in the word FAFSA, could it lead them to that link? That way they don't have to, I agree with Dr. Reynolds, they don't have to worry about all those numbers. They could just go straight to, type in
Yeah.
FAFSA, go straight to the link.
Administrative code is online too. You can just search Alabama Administrative Code in Google, and it'll pull up.
But those
But we're working
numbers,
on it.
Jason, those numbers can be confusing. If they just type in FAFSA in the search, it would be so easy, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's been just one of the front page scroll things recently, but we'll we'll get Marie to check that and make sure it's as easy as possible to search. Thank you.
Okay. Yes,
Dr. Mack.
yes.
Can we also, as far as filling it out, can we see exactly what the results? You know, what happens if they fill out all of these forms, and then after the fact, the results, the fruit, so to
Sure,
speak,
absolutely.
of filling it out? Because it's one thing to fill it out, it's another thing to reap the benefits of filling it out. Having filled it out for daughters in the past, I mean, it's one of those challenges, and it supposedly has improved, and it was really bad back then. It was a long one, but the fact is that filling out something and then seeing the fruit from that labor,
Right.
they're two different
Yeah.
things. And so let's see the results of requiring. Well, we heard that. I'd like to see what happens. what
Yes,
the-
I'd like
the
to see
real
how much
story
is
and,
off
you
the
know,
table
what
after
happens to the
this.
students.
Will.
Because the reason for filling it out is so that you could actually benefit, and so I'd like to see how it benefits our students.
Okay.
Absolutely, and
That's
we'll do that
Okay.
soon, get that to you. Yeah, I mean, it is millions of more dollars that'll come into Alabama households. They don't come to us, they don't come to AIC, or, I guess eventually they go to our institutions of higher ed through those families.
It takes
But,
time, too, for schools, but our schools have counselors who can actually follow up on those. Because to me, the whole purpose would be to fill it out, reap the benefits, keep those students in school, and then see what happens
Get
in the
those
end.
students, right.
Yeah, we want them to succeed, but we also want to see, and it usually does take a little bit of time to see the results of that.
The two-year colleges in my district are working to help those counselors, because
And I
it's
think-
very much to their benefit that these kids get this money.
And I think that's one way we can check it out. is to-
And Dr. Mackey, an important thing, and you mentioned it, is the opportunity to opt out. And the concept and the perception that the board made a mandate, a requirement, is without clarity that there's a clear option for mandate, and that's been exercised. I think you said 40%.
right, yes.
That's significant, that people understand this board is not in increasing unnecessary mandates and intrusion into the privacy without providing the other option. And every parent and I'm glad the superintendents are doing the mandatory, the option as a broad scope, because it's graduation time.
Right.
And it's critical that it comes up at this time. Thank you very much for your time.
Yes, sir. So the last part of my report today, we do have some students with us, as we've been having for many months. Today, you recognized the the Grow Your Own, our Future Teachers initiative. And we have some of those future teachers with us today. I'm going to turn the program over to Mrs. Laura Bailey, who is a CTE administrator for Family and Consumer Sciences, which is where we house Future Teachers of America. We have some students who have patiently sat with us this morning and learning the process. Young people who've come down from Huntsville, I think from the Huntsville Center of Technology and Columbia High School. So, Ms. Bailey, thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Mackey and board members, I want to thank you for recognizing Alabama's Grow Our Own initiative and the Future Teachers of Alabama organization this morning. Several years ago, the Alabama State Department of Education and the Alabama Education Association formed a partnership dedicated to encouraging Alabama students to pursue a career in the teaching profession. The Future Teachers of Alabama and Teach Alabama organization started the Grow Our Own initiative to provide our local school systems with opportunities to focus on activities that promote teaching as a career, highlight the importance of America's educators, and encourage students to strongly consider the field of education as a future career choice. Today, students across the state are actively involved in their local FTA chapters as the demand for highly qualified teachers increases. This morning, we have the opportunity to recognize and hear from the winners of the Grow Our Own contest sponsored by AEA. First, I would like to express my appreciation to Kayla Cantley, the education specialist who oversees the FTA grant for the State Department of Education, Suzanne Clemens, the AEA State Aspiring Educator Coordinator, for coordinating the Grow Our Own contests for our students and our supporters at AEA. Please join me in welcoming the following. From Columbia High School, Principal Mr. William King, FTA Advisor Ms. Elizabeth Goodson, and the winners of the Notebook and Display Contest, Landon Whetstone, Tiffany Speakman, Ronald Davis, and Eric Davis. They are also joined by other FTA members from Columbia High School. From the Huntsville Center for Technology, please welcome CTE Director, Mr. Zachary McWhorter, FTA Advisor, Ms. Kay Sims, and the winners of the Video Lesson Plan Contest, Ellen Harris, a senior who plans to attend the University of North Alabama and major in elementary education, and Taylor Hicks, a senior who plans to attend the University of Alabama, Birmingham, and major in music education. Today, it will be our pleasure to hear first from Landon Whetstone of Columbia High School and then from Ellen Harris and Taylor Hicks from the Huntsville Center for Technology.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. So I just wanted to quickly touch a little bit on how we completed and proceeded to complete our digital notebook and board presentation. So we utilized our time during our enrichment blocks to compose information from various sources on different statistics and information relating to education and the professions of education, such as salaries and credentials that were required to become an educator within the state of Alabama, as well as licensings and stuff like that. During this process, we also utilized digital design software to create the portions of our board, such as canva.com, where we were able to design the portions that we would further use to paste onto the board. We decided to present the board to 9th grade classes to further incentivize younger high school students to look into the field of education and to proceed and to become a teacher within the state of Alabama or within the nation. I worked alongside my team members, Tiffany, Ronald, and Eric, as well as myself and our sponsor, Ms. Goodson, to really keep us on track of getting this project done. So that's all I really wanted to speak about, and I do appreciate the time to speak to y'all. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. We're so grateful to be here. I'm Ellen Harris, and this is Taylor Hicks. And we're from Huntsville High, and we are so grateful that we got the opportunity to be a part of this club and participate in it. And the lesson was originally taught by Taylor during the online era of doing school, and she really learned how to differentiate between everybody and talk about how it's important to focus on the different aspects of teaching in her lesson.
I'm going to lower this because I'm short. Hi, everyone. My name is Taylor Hicks, and I created the lesson in the middle of the pandemic. We had to start off completely virtual because, obviously, we're in a pandemic, so we can't be in classrooms. It was very difficult to create the lesson, especially tailored to each individual student's needs. I had to use PowerPoint. I used PowerPoint, whiteboard, like a digital whiteboard, musictheory.net, YouTube videos. Like, I used a lot of different virtual aspects so that every student was able to grasp it. I thought that this was a very good lesson to build off of, given the fact that my lesson was on note identification, and I thought that was very buildable. If I was in an actual class setting, I would be able to build on that throughout the year. So I just kind of saw it as that. I like to thank my mom. Wave your hand, Mom. She's in the back with the bob. I like to thank her for her support, and our director and our teacher, Miss Sims, in the back. Wave your hand, please. I like to thank her. Yeah, she's the best, really. I like to thank her for believing in us, because when she first asked me if I was interested, I was like, what? I kind of thought she was crazy for suggesting it, but I like to thank her for believing that we had the potential to create a wonderful lesson plan. So that's about it. Thank you.
And students, don't leave, because we'll do some pictures when you get finished. I'm going to turn it back over to Ms. Bailey. But then also remind the board, I think some of the students, maybe all of them, are going to be able to come and join us for the first few minutes of the work session like we've been doing for any Q&A. Sorry, Ms. Bailey, turn it
No,
back.
sir, that's fine. You may have noticed through social media that several of our FTA programs have done teacher signing days this month and across the state. And we have several students who have signed professing their interest to be future educators. And 2 of the top 16 finalists for Teachers of the Year were education and training teachers from CTE this year, and FTA sponsors. We are very excited about that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Mackey. I would certainly like to commend these 2 programs, which are in District 8. And if you deem it appropriate, I would like for us to generate a resolution that I could go and present to these people at their facility, if that's appropriate. Thank you very much.
Be glad to. That concludes my report.
All right, thank you very much. Also, today is Dr. Tanya Chestnut's birthday, so happy birthday, Dr. Chestnut. The next elementary and secondary education meeting of the Alabama State Board of Education will be held on Thursday, June 9th, 2022, at 10 o'clock a.m. in the Gordon Persons Building Auditorium. The work session will begin in room P103 in the Gordon Persons Building at 11:30, because we need to take some pictures immediately right after. Is there a motion to adjourn? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? We're adjourned. Thank you.
Okay. So first, let's do the